The next example that I'm going to solve is from answer question number 6 in your assignment, which deals with the ISLM curve. You have to recollect your macroeconomics, at least the basic fundamental principles of macroeconomics, to solve these problems. So you should remember that the IS curve is the goods market equilibrium curve. So when you're talking about goods market equilibrium or the real market equilibrium, you're saying that your aggregate demand is equal to aggregate supply, which means Y is equal to C plus I, right? IS actually means the point where investment is equal to savings. So if I actually rearrange this in this way, Y minus C is savings and I is investment. So the IS represents goods market equilibrium, which can be represented by either of these equations, Y equals to C plus I or Y minus C equals to I. Now let me put the information given from the question into this. So instead of C, I'm writing 48 plus 0.8 times Y, and for I, I'm writing 98 minus 75I. Now we have two variables here, Y and I, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm taking all the variables to the left hand side. So I have got Y minus 0.8Y plus 75I is equal to 48 plus 98. So that gives me 0.2 times Y plus 75 times I is equal to 146. This is my first equation, and this equation represents the IS curve, or the investment equals to savings curve, or the goods market equilibrium. Next we move on to the LM curve. So the LM curve represents all those points or all those combinations of national income Y and interest rate I where the money market is in equilibrium, right? So for the money market to be in equilibrium, your money supply has to be equal to the money demanded, right? And money demanded, if you remember from Keynes, money demanded has three components: speculative demand for money, transactions demand for money, and precautionary demand for money. In this question, MT represents transactions demand for money and MZ represents the speculative demand for money. Since there is no precautionary motive demand for money mentioned, we are going to ignore that. So your total money demanded would be money demanded for transactionary purposes plus money demanded for speculative purposes. Now MS is given as 250 is equal to MT, which is 0.3 times Y, plus MZ, which is 52 minus 150 times I. Again, I'm going to take the two variables Y and I and the terms containing those to the left hand side. So I have got minus 0.3Y plus 150I is equal to 52 minus 250, which gives me minus 0.3Y plus 150I is equal to minus 198. And that is the second equation that represents the money market equilibrium, or the LM curve, or where the liquidity money supply is equal to money demand. Now you should remember from your macro class that The economy is at equilibrium when both the goods market as well as the money market are simultaneously at equilibrium. Now, if you remember your basic ISLM from macroeconomics, you'll remember that the downward sloping curve is the IS curve. This IS curve denotes combinations of national income and interest rates where the goods market is in equilibrium, and the upward sloping curve was the LM curve, where LM curve denotes combinations of national income and interest rate such that the money market is in equilibrium. The economy is supposed to be at equilibrium at this point E, where the goods market as well as the money market are simultaneously at equilibrium. So we are looking for the point E in our question that we are trying to solve. Now do remember that when you are solving a pair of simultaneous equations, it is the same as finding the point of intersection between the two lines. So going back to the problem, our IS curve, which I said is equation 1, and the LM curve is equation 2. So I have reduced it into a two variable, two equations simultaneous equation system. Again, you can solve the system either by elimination or substitution. So I'm going to try elimination, and in order to do elimination, I'm going to multiply equation 1 by 2. So I will get 0.4y plus 150i is equal to 292. And I'm going to name this equation 3. Equation 2, I'm going to write it as it is, minus 0.3y plus 150i is equal to minus 198. This is my equation 2. If I want to eliminate I, I'll need to subtract the two equations. So if I'm subtracting, that means I should change the signs of every term in the second equation. So plus and minus 150i gets cancelled out. I will get 0.7y is equal to 490, or y is equal to 490 divided by 0.7, which is equal to 700. So ISLM intersect when national income levels is equal to 700 units. Now to find I, as usual, put y equals to 700 in either one of the equations, 1, 2 or 3. So I'm going to put it in equation 1. It seems to be the simplest. So I've got 0.2 times 700 plus 75i is equal to 146. So if I solve this for I will get I as equal to 6 divided by 75, which is equal to 0.08, which in percentage terms would be 8%. Given that y equals to 700 and I is equal to 0.08, at national income equilibrium or the economy equilibrium, you just need to plug in these values to get the value of C, which is 48 plus 0.8 times 700, which is equal to 608. Investment function was 98 minus 75 times I, so that's 0.08, so you will get 92. Transactions demand for money was 0.3 times Y, that's 210, and your speculative demand for money was 52 minus 150 times I, which is equal to 40. And thus we have solved the ISLM equation system to find the point where the economy is in equilibrium, that is the goods market and the money market are simultaneously at equilibrium. So once you got the value of Y and I, you can find out what the consumption, investment, transactions demand for money and speculative demand for money are from the functions given in the question.